Out of all the SUVs and MPVs and crossovers and compact versions of just about every car on the road, there is one car that is particularly strange. And that is the small car that pretends to have some kind of off-road ability, even though it doesn't. And it has been pretty hard to classify that car, until now. And that's because Opel, makers of this Adam Rocks, one of those aforementioned small cars with off-road pretensions, has finally given us yet another category to add to the list: the Mini Cross Utility Vehicle, or Mini CUV. There are a few of them on the market at various price points, although rand for rand, its closest competition is the Volkswagen Cross Polo. Even though this car is smaller than the Polo, the two do have some things in common, like the plastic body protection and the front and rear scuff guards, all of which will come in pretty handy when tackling some dirt roads, which this car can do because it does have a raised ride height. Realistically though, this car isn't the one to buy if you're into weekend bush breaks, even if it is just the occasional one. And it's not just because this car has no real off-road ability, but also because the press release for the Adam Rocks says it's inspired by parkour sport, which, as far as I'm aware, is a purely city-based activity. Also, it's just a little bit too cute and a little bit too stylish to venture anywhere it's not likely to be seen. Besides the extra plastic in its contrasting red and black paint job with its 18-inch wheels, the Adam Rocks is a superb looking thing. Certainly a lot more interesting than anything else it competes against. And it's also very well spec'd. That is reflected somewhat in the asking price, but there really isn't a lot missing in here. You get climate control, smartphone-based sat-nav, cruise control, a touchscreen, all wrapped up in great materials and design. You may not like the star pattern black and white dashboard, but you have to admit it's a lot more interesting than the leather textured black plastic you get in every other car at the price. And things like the canvas roof add an extra dimension of driving fun. The layout is simple and clean, although some of the functionality, like the fact that the aircon isn't automatically activated in auto mode, and the fact that the car automatically starts up in eco mode, can be a bit annoying. As nice as I think it is, the interior of the Adam Rocks is also one of its weakest points. Calling a car a mini cross utility vehicle suggests that it has some utility. But as you can see here, this is just a very small selection of some of our camera gear. And if you'll follow me, in the back seat we have our 6-foot-tall intern, hard at work, and it all looks a little bit cozy. So the style and the spec come at the price of having not too much space, and at just under 290,000 rand, that's the one thing a utility type vehicle should have. Now, that shortcoming may not be something you notice every time you drive the car, but there is something else you will, and it should make everything better. The drive in here is just brilliant. You only get one engine choice in the Adam Rocks, but that really doesn't matter because what you get is Opel's fantastic 1-litre 3-cylinder, good for 85 kilowatts and 170 Newton meters. Up till now, my 1 litre of choice would have been Ford's EcoBoost, but now that I've driven this one, I'm not so sure. Take it out of eco mode and you get a great linear power delivery. And if you get your gearing right, there's almost always extra shove every time you poke the accelerator. Plus, it has that typically raspy 3-cylinder noise, which just adds even more enjoyment. Opel's fuel consumption claims are pretty good, but unsurprisingly, our figures didn't get anywhere near theirs. And that's almost a pity because with the engine and a great 6-speed manual gearbox and a ride setup that is only slightly understeery when you really start asking a lot of it, the Adam Rocks is a superb package. If it actually got by on just 5 litres per 100 kilometers, it would be perfect. Then again, if you actually aimed for those figures, you wouldn't have nearly as much fun. This is the kind of setup that wheels you on, and the more you push it, the more it wants and the better it gets. Analyzing what makes this thing so enjoyable, you come to the conclusion it's 1/4 looks and 1/4 spec, with the rest being made up by a great drive. It is a very nice little package, the operative word though being little. Don't be fooled by Opel's insistence that that is some kind of utility vehicle because, well, the VW Cross Polo has just about double the load space and it costs 20 grand less. So the Opel Adam Rocks will definitely pack less luggage, but it'll also turn more heads, and it is a lot more fun. Opel's superb 1-litre 3-cylinder turbo packs 85 kilowatts, 170 newton meters, and a whole lot of driving enjoyment. It is the only option in the Adam Rocks, and it's matched to a good 6-speed manual gearbox. There's no doubt that this car doesn't live up to the utility part of its classification, but it does have a well-spec'd interior and different looks. It may not be completely practical, but it is a lot of fun.